They've just come off the main stage and they're backstage with me now. It's two members of the Penguin Cafe. We've got Darren and we have Arthur. Hello, Darren and Arthur. Darren.
Hello, how you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Hello.
Hello. So now you are two members of the 9 members of Penguin Cafe. Where are the other members right now?
A lot of them are just there, but often it's up to 11.
Floating peripatetics.
Enjoying a post-set beer or two, I imagine, maybe.
Yeah, well, we've got this. We can't drink beforehand because a lot of the parts are very, very fiddly.
Quite literally fiddly.
Quite literally.
Yeah.
So yes, some people might not know Penguin Cafe's music or Penguin Cafe's orchestra's music, but they will know it. You do know it. There's a lot of the songs are featured on adverts and film soundtracks. What would they know, and what adverts and films are the songs featured on?
Well, a lot of the films have been sort of over the years. There was an Australian film when my dad was quite early on in their career. They did all the soundtrack to something called Malcolm, which is a really lovely kind of independent Australian film. But then more recently, Napoleon Dynamite had it. I think It's All Gone Pete Tong had it. There was a bunch of remixes done after I think it was DFS used Patrick Street's version, like the Irish version, and they did a like dance remix. And
the telephone advert?
Telephone, yeah, but 1-to-1 used it for about 4 years. They used Telephone and Rubber Band, and it was brilliant. Yeah.
So moving on from talking about names of companies, again, for people who aren't familiar with the band, your dad actually, Arthur, your dad, Simon, started at I love the story of how he began, because he had a premonition in a dream because of food poisoning in the early 70s.
Yeah, he ate some bad shellfish and then had a sort of horrible few days, during which he had a sort of a waking dream, sort of nightmarish vision of the near future, where where you could see. Well, yeah, and so you could basically, everyone lived in these big concrete blocks, and you could look into different people's flats. And in one room, there's a couple making love soundlessly and lovelessly, and in another room, there's a musician and a vast array of electronic equipment making music, but he's got headphones on. There's no music in the room, so it's sort of very dehumanized, sort of unhuman way of living. And all the time, in the top corner of all the rooms, there's a big kind of malevolent camera looking at everyone. So it's sort of very Big Brother in the sort of. Yeah, so it was quite a good premonition. But you could reject this world and look further down the road, and then you'd find this place called the Penguin Cafe, which is the sort of shambolic, tumble-down building with lots of noise and light pouring out. And it's just a place you really want to be. And there's long tables, everyone sits together, and in the back of this cafe, there's always a band playing. It's Penguin Cafe Orchestra, and they play music that you don't know where, but you are sure you've heard it before. And it's that kind of very comforting, familiar quality. And so then when he woke up from this dream, he decided he'd just write the kind of music that band was playing, and he did that for the next 30 years.
And it's quite strange because it's like you don't know where you've heard it, so a lot of people will be unfamiliar with it. But if you hear the music, oh, I know that one. And you don't know the names, but I know that one. Do you know what I mean? It's out there in the national consciousness, I think.
It really is. I saw your set, and I have to say I completely loved it, and I'm now ready and willing to go out and buy heaps of your albums because it does feel comforting. It feels lovely. But your dad, he died in '97, didn't he? And then you decided to I'm sorry to bring that up, but you then decided to carry on the Penguin Cafe's orchestra's work as the Penguin Cafe.
Well, it sort of was a very organic, accidental process, actually. It was 10 years after my dad died, I got together with his old band, like the line-up in the 90s, and we played a series of concerts at Union Chapel in London, sort of just to mark 10 years since it died, and that was a really amazing experience, really lovely. But it sort of we didn't feel that we could carry it on in that form, and it was very much it was quite a sort of celebratory backwards reference thing, and so then after that we just stopped. But a year after that, in 2008-09, I got asked.
Halloween party.
Yeah, we got asked to do a Halloween party in a castle
in Italy, and so I took Darren and Andy and Tom, and we went and basically just played a bunch of my dad's tunes because that was all I could think of to do. And it was really, really good fun. And then a bunch of people at that party asked us to play at their parties back in London. And we got a few more people in, and then some more people asked us to play. It was getting bigger, we started to get paid. And then, that summer we played Glastonbury Festival, Big Chill. And then the year after that we played the Albert Hall. It was just it just really just kept falling forwards. It was a really lovely process, actually. But
I'm also very impressed that your dad was friends and knew Brian Eno, and now you do too.
Yeah, he's sort of always terribly busy, but I keep trying to get him down to gigs.
Come to Cambridge Folk Festival.
I'll tell him next time.
You usually have penguins on stage with you, and you're all very dapper. I have to say they're the two most dapper men that I've met at the entire festival. But, yeah, definitely the festival, quite possibly ever. Yeah, you usually have penguins on stage with you. You didn't have them today.
Where were the penguin heads?
Penguin heads, yeah.
Yeah, and quite big ones. They're not real penguin heads, obviously.
There was one on stage.
Lady off camera just said there was one on stage.
Okay, there you go. There was penguin head on stage.
Okay, excellent. I couldn't spot them. I think that possibly because all the things that I could see, I was focusing on the beautiful men, possibly.
Probably Vince was standing in the way. Big lad. Yeah, it's probably Vince.
Did you enjoy your set today?
Yeah, it's great. It's always fun doing festivals because you hear people that don't know the music, and everyone's standing. We do quite a lot of shows where people are sitting down in their beautiful auditoriums, and it's all very kind of the reproduction of sound is very pure. And at a festival, it's a lot more kind of gung ho, and the set's quite different. I say there's always a lot of energy when you do a festival. I love playing these gigs.
And how about the crowd at the Cambridge Folk Festival? Did they?
Oh, they're fantastic. They got behind us instantly. I mean, straight away, wasn't it? It's like, yeah. And can clap in time. Have you noticed that?
Normally they can't clap. Normally, well, this because of the quality of sound. It's just, yeah, it's actually very tricky to play in time while everyone's clapping really loudly. But these guys are all dead on. It's great.
We've got the most talented audiences.
Talented crowd, yes.
Cambridge Folk Festival, talented audiences. Have you seen anyone else at the Folk Festival? How long are you here for?
Well, we just got here about 45 minutes before it went on, and I think we've got to run off. Well, hopefully we'll be able to see a couple of people before we leave.
I'd recommend the Den. The Den is where the up and coming people are.
I really want to see Pentangle as well. I don't know.
Pentangle.
Here long enough.
Yeah.
The Den. Do you reckon?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we get time, I'm going to see as much as I can. I mean, I tend to wander around. I saw 3 acts in the time we were here, and everything was brilliant. Everything was really good.
Have you guys played here before?
No, but I was here in 1996, where I was just sort of, I was about 16. I was just running around taking pictures and like being a dog's body for the original Penguin Cafe Orchestra. So it's really nice to come back and actually be playing stuff. It's very good.
Awesome. So very finally, we've asked lots of people at the Folk Festival today, what does the Folk Festival mean to you? I'll come to Darren first. What does the Folk Festival mean to you?
What is what this folk festival?
The cooperative Cambridge Folk Festival.
Well, it's I walked out, walked past the little to get front of house to get out there. I walked past a little kind of bar and got some local ales and just walked out, and the sun started really properly shining. Everyone was sat in their deck chairs, really relaxed. There's no mud. Do you know what I mean? All the musicians can really play, which is great. It's not too intense. It's just a sunshine, real ale, and up for the crack vibe, isn't it, folk? You've got to love it.
And how about you, Arthur?
I just really enjoy playing. When we play in front of a folk crowd, we've done this a few times when we play in Scotland and Ireland. Certainly, there's I think there's a real stream. There's a real thing in the Penguin Cafe body of work that draws a lot on sort of folk music of Britain and all around the world. But it's incredibly good fun to play in front of a crowd that really appreciates those little bits and really sees all the little influences that my dad chucked in. And so, yeah, it's just basically that.
The proper musicianship. Well, thank you so much to very talented musicians, and we better get out the sun before we burn. Glorious weather here.